Hello, and welcome back to Carian Manor. That's a weird graphic. Having a good time exploring. I wasn't able to locate bubbles because I didn't look as hard as I probably should have, and I might have been misunderstanding what they're supposed to be, which I'll check that. So there's no need to worry. But time to explore here. Again, what's up with that? Like, is there something invisible flying up there? It's weird. But I'm gonna explore here. And I'm not gonna get everything. I'll probably grab the sword that was super OP on release. But I'm not gonna worry about grabbing everything because I'm mostly here for Ranni's quest. And these hands are really annoying to fight. Like, I hate fighting these hands. Especially since I don't have a fire weapon. If I had a fire weapon, it would be less annoying. But they just hit very quickly. They do drop useful stuff, I guess, but I'm not going to worry too much. One thing of some note. Last episode, I talked about the... Oh wait, this is a person. They might not have been evil, but it was a person. I talked about the Welland Canal connecting Lake Erie and Lake Ontario briefly. I also forgot to mention kind of the most extreme fact. It takes 11 hours to go from one end of the on average to go from one end of the canal to the other. Because every time a boat needs to go up or down, enough water to lift them... I don't want to get shot. Enough water to lift them the 13 to 15 meters for each lock. Enough water needs to be filled or drained at an appropriate speed to get them that change in height. Weird. Which means like each of the 7 locks, I think it's only 7 locks that affect height. Because the last lock is just really long. And if they had to fill that, it would be insane. Like, filling that last lock would be an extreme effort. And it would take so long. But maybe they do. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. But it takes 11 hours to get from one end to the other. 'Cause apparently there's like average of 3,000 ships a year. It's also, at some point, it became, like, possible for ships to go in both directions at the same time. Maybe for some sections, not for all of them. Obviously not for all of them, but... It's kind of... It's hard to imagine... Though, I would assume... I don't know a lot about shipping via canals, but I would imagine it's probably less weird because I assume they spend a lot of time on the boat anyway. So it's not like they were spending 11 hours when normally they do a 9 to 5 on a boat. Assuming they have to, you know, travel with the boat from where it starts to where it ends. They're going to be on the boat for a long time anyway, so it's not going to be as much of a change as if you had to drive something 11 hours. Oh, yay. Slightly too close. Oh, I was about to roll into the big guy. Zero stagger on the big guy. And infinite stamina on the big guy too. I'm gonna run past them. I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna get my runes back and leave. I forgot to use my runes to level up last time though. I was gonna level up. I was like even thinking in my head, I'll level up because I wanted to see how many levels I could get every episode, but I completely forgot. Despite in my head, within minutes, like minutes before I was gonna finish, thinking, yep, I need to do this. It's such an annoying area. And it is just annoying. It's not crazy dangerous. I just don't want to spend the time. Yep, this is ready to go. There's gonna be some wolves in a bit. I think there's stuff around the corner, but I'm gonna keep going till I get to the next grace before I do anything else. Yeah, it's a grace. Yeah. 11 hours on a boat is not unimaginable. Just 11 hours working your way through a canal, getting into a lock and then sitting in place while it fills with water so that it can lift you up, sitting in place as it drains the water. I assume they have work to do, anyone on the boat. But if they didn't, I can't imagine what it would be like. Because it's not stationary, but it's basically, there's nothing changing to look at. It's just the same canal gradually rising above you, rising to either side of you, or lowering. Canals are really cool though. Like, well, not really canals so much as the locks that canals will have. Because they're necessary in various contexts. But they're also kind of, they're fun to see. They're fun to look at for like 2 minutes as you walk by. I think I want to go the other way first. I just hit an invisible soldier that hadn't appeared yet. Now that's some homing. Whoop. That's where I want to go. I'm not even going to use the sword. I'm just going to get it for collection's sake. Whoop. Because it got nerfed a ton post-release. Because it was way too good on release. The Song of the Night... the Sword of Night and Flame? Flame and Night? I don't know. Let's see if I take damage. Which actually I wouldn't take damage. I would just die instantly. But it needs faith. Night and Flame. Just for reference. Yeah, 24 faith, 24 int. I've never actually used it. Even when it was super crazy strong. It just kind of lame. And by lame I mean if it's too strong it kind of feels like you can use it to avoid actually learning content to fight. Whoop. Now, I say avoid learning content to fight. I'm running past all these enemies because they are incredibly dull. They're just generic goons, except they're blue. Whoop. I kind of enjoy that. That's actually fun to me. Doing little loops to dodge the homing magic. Yeah, nothing on this side. The boss shouldn't be far. I just can't remember the precise specifics. If it's even the boss that I'm thinking it is. Because I remember wolves. I just can't remember. Oh, okay, there is another grace. And I will level up now. I need 50 strength if I want to use that greatsword. So, 1 level. Yeah, last episode I ended with 1 level worth of runes. And then there's wolves everywhere. And wolves are just as bad as dogs. They're not as bad as scarlet rot dogs, but... Oh, that missed. These ones might be worse than dogs because they have a lot more HP. I will do a lot of running around and not fighting wolves, probably. Roa fruit are nice to collect, because you can craft them into food for your horse. And then forget to use them and instead just use your flask because you're lazy. Oh, that's what I always do. I never bother with the actual implemented system. I'll craft like 40 of them and then use 2 and then never use any ever again. Camera work. I should work on Hollywood films with my camera work. Professionally hired. Whoa. He should work. He can aim. He should take up basketball. Become a star. I don't know. At slam dunking? Players have different skill sets in basketball. I don't know basketball very well. I don't follow basketball. All I know is the Toronto Raptors are pretty good. And which mostly I'm thinking about it because the Toronto Maple Leafs are and have been for a long time not very good. But the Blue Jays are good sometimes. I don't know why I'm talking about that though. I was gonna say yes, I don't know if there's specific roles for the way in which they deliver. They try to score points. Like, is there some specific offensive front charger whose job is to try to get dunks? Or is that a purely opportunistic action? Like, oh, they left it open, go for a dunk, but that's not anyone's specific role because most of them are able to jump that high anyway because they're all tall. I don't want to fight this guy. He might actually give an item when you kill him, but I don't want to fight that guy. I was very slow on that roll. I don't need to slow my roll. I wonder what slow your roll came from. Like, what sort of exact context? Whether it originated in, like, the 20s. Oops, I'm bad. Whether it originated in, like, the 80s. Whether it's referring to drivers. Whether it's referring to some other profession or sport. Sports can be professions, but sport in the sense of like casual sport goers. Now that's an animation. I'd better off hitting him again. He does indeed drop something. That is actually usable. That is very usable. It's bad because I'd have to upgrade it, but it is usable. Ooh, that's pretty good. And it's a horizontal swing? Perfect. Oh, I'm too heavy. It's way too heavy of a weapon to use. Ooh, new sword. Int scaling. I'm gonna stick with the weapon that I've actually upgraded, but I will upgrade this one because it's lighter. Yeah, it needs a. I can actually use it right now. Oh, I need to pump up strength a lot, which it makes sense to prioritize strength over int if I'm primarily using weapons instead of magic casting, but it just feels bad. Not bad, it just feels wasteful. It feels like I should be trying to use like a weapon that's pure int scaling, but is also like a strength style weapon. But generally it's not going to be like that. If there's a pure... That's the boss right there. There's some item out here though. Down below. Alexander's not here, right? Whoop. Oops. I didn't mean to roll there. I got lucky. This type of puzzle would work in other games, in like the Dark Souls series, but it's way less unwelcome in this game for me, because... Oy, I didn't actually think they would stretch their arm out. Okay, not staggered, and stuck in place, so he's just spinning like a top and not running past me. Give me my living jar shard. I'm gonna have to heal before I go for the boss. Or it's going to be advisable that I heal before I go for the boss. I've had one more swing before the combo. Because this combo, 2, 3, 4, 5, stops right there. Also, crystal dart. Yeah, something about Golem Crafter employed a similar crystal tool. And then I bet there's something else that references how it turns those crystalline enemies against each other. Cracked pot. Crackpot's a weird term. I wonder if it has a similar origin to Mad Hatter, where some facet of the hat making process, there was a chemical that would drive people mad, because it might have been lead, it could have been any number of harmful substances that was used commonly in the past. I don't know where it would be lead though. Like, cause the common things like lead paint, and lead pipes. Not lead sewing string. Like not lead, oh, there's another guy. Like not lead thread. You wouldn't have lead thread to paint your, to sew your hats together. There is something about like badger fur and arsenic? I can't remember if it's arsenic, but or in the past there was an issue of, I'm also not certain if it's badger, but it's badger, weasel, probably badger, because badgers would have bristly fur. And it's used for like brushes for shaving, I think. And like the badger fur would have, I mean, toxic stuff on it. And people have to be careful. Or people still do have to be careful. I'm not actually sure. I don't use a brush for shaving like that. Maybe I should. Carian Grandeur. Bye. I'm back up here. Now I need to go to the boss. Run past everything again. Yeah. Wolf Zone. I really need new talismans. I need to actually explore the world for a bit. Because I haven't actually been exploring. I've been focusing too much on going to one place and then the next. I've been getting sidetracked somehow, despite focusing so much. I didn't expect him to catch up with me. But straight to the boss. One hit's not too bad. 2 hits would have been worse, but I need to heal once anyway, so. It's actually better, I think, to not go to the Grace. You start the fight, die, go back to the Stake of Marika, maybe? Would be easier. There might be items here. That's why I'm checking. There do not appear to be any items here. Kind of surprised. I think every time I'm surprised there's no item there. But yeah, this is a nice, like, visually pleasing zone. And then back off because getting shot at. Not a lot of damage, actually. Ugh, my least favorite type of attack. Though not as much trouble as Radahn's equivalent. Because Radahn's equivalent doesn't seem to be purely proximity based. That was greedy. That was so greedy. Back off. Oh yeah, it's just a buff. Oh, this one. This is not the, this might be. I don't think this variant has the charged variant, because I think you fight this again, basically. But they have a charged version of the bow shot that I don't think they always charge. They sometimes charge the shot. But this one, you don't have to worry about that. Very easy. But that's because effectively I've already fought it twice, 4 times. Despite having only fought this specific variant twice before. I didn't even need to go back to the Grace. I could have gone straight to the boss and I would have been fine. Because I only used 3. One of those, I think, was partially due to getting hit on the way here. If I'd just gone straight into the boss, I would have been fine. So yeah, that one doesn't open until later in the quest line. There's a dragon that shows up in the middle here. There's a secret floor in one of these ruins that if you find it, it's kind of obvious, but it's not very obvious, but when you realize, oh, yeah, that when you notice it, it becomes very obvious. I will fight the dragon a bit. I wish I could cut the tail off of the dragon. Yeah, it doesn't have that much HP. Go for a bite. Ooh, big explosion. Please no breath? That's bad. Yeah. Don't run away from me. Coward. What are you doing? Ah, you're broken. Oh, never mind. Because of how collision works. What was that? Sorry. That was one too many Estus because of button mashing. I'm really not a fan of this particular dragon fight because the it's just such an awkward locale to fight a dragon. And now it's teleporting? Yes. It runs away, and I think it's the same dragon you fight up here. Later. Apologies for bumping the microphone. Wolf. Now it's time to get the real quest line started. To my understanding, it's kind of my favorite. This quest gets my favorite ending because I much prefer the idea of the quote unquote gods. I don't know if they're really a god in the same sense as is proposed and people believe in our world. I don't know. But they are very, like, when they distancing themselves, letting things go their own way, sort of, is a much more appealing sentiment than micromanaging. That might be what the other ones imply.
Oh, again we cross paths. I believe I said my name was Rena when last we met. It pleaseth me to see Torrent hale and hearty, but tarnished. What business hast thou here? I have no memory of inking thee an invitation.
No particular reason.
In particular thou claimest. Intriguing. Then mayhaps fate hath steered thee to this reunion. Wilt thou enter into my service? I am the witch Rani. I stole death long ago, and search now for the dark path, that I might one day upend the whole of it, and rid the world of all that came before. Well, has that roused thy interest? I see.
I must do the quest.
Choice well made. Thou art a rare sword. Not many would have accepted the offer, but I require as much of those under my command. I anticipate good work from thee.
Like, she might not be a great person, but
Then there is in my search. I would have thee join him in searching for the hidden treasure of Nokron. I have called for Blythe to... heed not. I am sure the other... Speak with the thou needst not in...
yeah, like, she might not be the best person. She might actually even be evil. But it's just an interesting overall story of not wanting to impose control, but not wanting control imposed upon her.
So you again, the Carian royal family's deputy. I'm told that you are searching for Nokron. I will give you whatever guidance I can.
EG's a good guy. Kind of a sad end to them. Blythe also a sad end.
Name's Blythe.
Blythe.
Sworn sword to Mistress Rani. Glad to have you aboard. Well, getting right to business. I'm situated in Limgrave right now. The eternal city of Nokron lies somewhere at the bottom of this land. I'm planning to go below through the well in the Mistwood. See if I can't find the road to Nokron from there.
This quest, this step of this quest, always, it confuses me so much.
I see. Yes.
I hate him. He's not a good guy.
I ask. I come and pay me. Should you? If it were up, but who?
Like, he is... Who is... he's one of the worst people in this story. I talked to them all. I thought I could leave. Do I have to go back up and talk to Rani again? Or do I have to arrest at the Grace? Then I can talk? Okay, I can leave. Maybe she wants me to talk to her again. I won't bother because I think just going with Blythe is all I need to do. But, like, Celavis is one of the most outright awful people. Sorry, wolves. You don't really deserve this, but like, he's just a real creep. And the reason he's a creep can be revealed fairly easily if I find the illusory floor. Is it right here? Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, once you notice it's there, it's very obvious. But if you don't know to look for it, it's a lot harder to find. Celivis's puppet. This will be relevant later. But not yet. I'm not going to talk to Celivis yet. Though it is relevant for a few other quests, I believe. Because Celivis has a real creepy potion that he wants you to feed either Rani or Ronnie or the hawk girl whose name I can't remember. I just associate her with the hawk because that's what you need to find and what was implemented after like a patch or two into the game. Because before one of the first patches, you couldn't do anything with her questline. It just kind of ended. Yeah, that's that quest started. So I'll have to go down the well somewhere. I can do this down there. That's where I'll have to go for his quest line. I think I will focus entirely on this quest as much as I can. I will accept not getting the Dung Eater quest where you can get access to him because I want to fight Radan. I want to make sure I fight Radan soon instead of when I have a ton more levels and upgraded gear. So back to the pretty area. Very nice zone. I'll have to go through for a ways before I get to him. And I'll have to light a bunch of torches to fight a... What is it? It's not a deer. It's like an elk. An ancestral beast. Ghost glovewort. High priority. I don't know what do kissed herb. Can I ride a horse? I can. I do like that you get to ride Torrent in a lot of places. It's a lot of fun. There should be some downtime with little high stakes action. High stakes. But while I'm running, I could talk a bit about something like several months to a year ago. I was searching like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang for some reason, which is a British, or was it American film themed after British people? I'm not actually sure about the who made it specifically. But the aesthetic is meant to be very British. Though I think the whole Dick Van Dyke thing that I think was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and not Mary Poppins was that his accent was bad, and I assume American accent, so I assume it was made in the US, but the kids were British, so it might have been made in Britain. I'm not sure. The main thing is, it is a movie that is mostly just an imaginary story. Like, it's about a car, but then the main adult male lead starts telling a story as the tide is approaching them, and it morphs into like the car can fly, a lot of wild stuff. Very weird movie. cannot remember many specifics, despite probably having watched it at least 3 or 4 times as a kid. Maybe like 5 or 6. Because it's just such a weird movie. I think at one point they dress up as human-sized toys to disguise themselves. There's a whole thing about a child catcher as a character. Very creepy. Very, very odd. But I was searching it for some reason, like, oh, what happened to the actors, like the child actors in this movie? What I learned is most of them, I think, like, the girl in that, I think, had a fairly normal life. I think they might have, it was either her or the female lead adult character that passed away. More likely the female adult lead has passed away because they were already an adult when that movie was made. But I'm pretty sure it's the male child became the president of an acting college slash school, whatever you want to call it. And in 2021 was dismissed for due to racism allegations, which is the only thing interesting about that is it's not really surprising considering relative ages, but it's unexpected because your image is, oh, these were these characters who were like 10 or younger. I can't picture them as adults that are racist or accused of racism. It's just a weird disconnect between memories formed in childhood from those sorts of movies and then the obvious reality that they're actors. Why does that kick me off my horse? It's so weird. Yeah. It was just something led to me researching what was up with the actors. And that was the only real interesting thing I found. Because, like, the rest seemed to live fairly normal lives. Not being dismissed for racism. And maybe even doing some positive stuff. Yeah, it's just a weird... It's just like discovering... Though, I mean, in a different sense because it was just a random actor. But like, it's discovering how some, like, well-regarded actors were not great. It's less impactful when it's a random child actor from the 60s, 70s, 50s. I don't know. But it's still like, you never assume that that's what's going to happen to someone. Weird. Yeah. Though it's always fun when it's the opposite. Like, you're like, oh, what happened to that person since the only thing I've ever heard about them from? Oh, it turns out that they were hyper successful. That's good. Like, that's always fun to read. I think the girl in the film might have become my memory was that their Wikipedia article was positive. It could be that it was positive relative to the other one, but... Whoop. It's just kind of an interesting twist. Oh, there's some... Like, the whole... I'm just going to say, like, the whole thing with Ducky from Land Before Time is just kind of horrific to learn. It's not a happy bit of information. It's also weird to learn that The Land Before Time had more than like 4 movies, of which I think I've only ever seen like 2. They had like a lot of movies, I think. Budding horn. That's kind of weird, because they're very humanoid. That's like collecting an ear. It's a weird distinction to make, though. Like collecting beast horns is not beast bones is not really that much weirder. Collecting lumps of flesh is pretty weird. Yeah, actually, Land Before Time was a weird movie. Series of movies. Because they were fun, but they also were like incredibly forgettable. Like, there's nothing specific about any of them that any of the 1 or 2 that I've watched when I was a child that I can remember. Though, I mean, I also watched like Bob the Builder as a child. All I remember from that is the song, which I am not going to sing because I don't actually think I remember it well enough to sing it. You infinite stamina. Infinite stamina. Well, actually, we have... In Elden Ring, it's actually kind of a fair amount of stamina. Because we have, like, near infinite stamina, so it's not as bad. Oh. Thinking about childhood movies. And, like, I never... As a kid, the fact that VeggieTales was Catholic or Christian programming, like, it was very much drawing from, like, the Bible, didn't occur to me. Not for a second. It was just silly stories. My mother was Catholic. Never took for me. Like, as a kid, you have to say prayers before bed. There's at least one memory I have of asking my dad, who is an atheist, to explain the words of the prayer. Because I was too young to know what the words meant. And the prayer just devolved to say it as fast as you can before bed so you can get to sleep. Not that I enjoyed going to sleep, but like there was a point after which it was like, okay, I have it memorized. Let's see if I can say it in one breath. Which is very, like, 5-year-old thing to do. I don't even remember a single word to it anymore. I'd probably recognize it. Well, there's probably Now You Lay Me Down to Sleep is in it. That's the only part. That might even be from something else. But yeah, VeggieTales was a good program. Very fun. Even if it is technically very clearly religious programming. Programming not in the, like, programming people sense, but in the television programming, except I think it's more... I don't know if it was... whether it was, like, movies or short films. I don't know what it would be defined as. Yeah, that's Blythe over there. I need to get the torches lit first, though. More dogs. Okay, I already went over there. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff from VeggieTales that was pretty weirdly dark. Like, there was a whole Easter Bunny thing that I think I've learned since was about idolatry. But all it really was, wow, this Easter Bunny's a villain. He burns people alive. Like, he throws people in his furnace to kill them. which is like very dark for programming targeted at like 6-year-olds. Which kind of fits with the tone of it being a message about idolatry, because like they're very serious about not idolizing anyone but, I don't know, the one true person that you idolize. But it's just a very... It was interesting to learn that apparently there were people who were sort of family friends who weren't allowed to watch it as kids because it was religious. Not even undertones, like overtones. But I mean, it clearly didn't stick, so... The only thing that stuck with it were like fun songs, like Barbara Manatee, You're the One for Me, Come From Up Above, You're the One I Love. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've watched that. And the Hairbrush song, very good. Especially with the punchline of, why do you have a hairbrush if you don't have any hair? Very funny. I'm going back to a Grace because I need to wrap up for today. Yeah, what a weird... Like, it was very weird and kind of shocking to learn that it wasn't just a fun little show / series of movies. I mean, thinking back, it is very blatant. Like, it's not subtle about it, but the kid is just fun to watch. Like... There was a snowboarding one? Or sledding? It's hard to judge whether it's snowboarding or sledding when it's a cucumber and a tomato, because they don't have feet. So the difference between sitting on something and standing on something is not very clear. One level. One level, not a lot of levels. Yeah. So, that was some progress. Not as much as I would have liked. I will continue exploring this. I will get all of the brazier? The braziers lit and fight the ancestral beast, I think is what it's called. I can't remember what triggers the quest line, but I won't worry about that right away. I'm going to do the boss first. I don't think the boss triggers the quest line even. I do have to actually talk to him for the quest though, that's for sure. If I talk to him, does that then trigger the Radon thing? And then you kill Radon, and then he stops holding back the meteor, and then the meteor strikes, and then you can get to Nokron? That might be what it is. Yeah. I will continue exploring next time. I should find a new helmet. I really don't like the aesthetic. It just looks kind of bad. I'm distracted, but I need something that looks less bad than this. I kind of like the Exile armor with the, what's this one called? The Crimson Hood? I think it looks kind of nice. Is it lighter? Because if it's lighter, then I could wield this. The fact that this is the Colossal Sword seems a little weird. I bet the Moonlight Sword is a colossal weapon as well, huh? Because if the Moonlight Sword is not a colossal weapon, then I don't know how this is a colossal sword. The colossal weapons are different than colossal swords. It's different classifications. Because I think like axe variants fall under colossal weapons. Yeah, I'm going to stop getting sidetracked and wrap it up for today. I will probably upgrade this one just for variety. I think... I don't think that boosts my attack. I'm just gonna try. Okay, if I two-hand it, check my status, 259. Still 259. I don't think it's a strength boost, so I don't know what it does. It might just be a roar that hits stuff around you, which would be pretty lame if it doesn't hit incredibly hard. So yeah, I probably won't use it yet, but I will consider upgrading it. But it'll be next time fighting the monster probably. So, have a nice day. Bye-bye.